we have these emotions of it being a heritage and a green city. Are we expecting Mysuru to shift from a tier 2 to a tier 1 city?
When the city is growing, our roads also have to become bigger. Our processing plants also have to become bigger. Our sewage plants also have to become bigger. And when that development is happening, it should not be completely against the conservation. But conservation alone should not also put development at a backseat, because without development, who are we?
When you were first posted in Mysuru, what areas did you feel lagged behind?
See, Mysuru is a beautiful city. So the beauty you see anywhere is the reflection of the people around in that place. So when I had come, there were a few things that I noticed. One is that in the preceding year, we had slid in terms of cleanliness. A lot of effort was made in that direction. Due to the cleanliness efforts, we also received the President's Award.
Generally, the scenarios, so I got the degree and now I can settle, I can start, getting a job and start earning.
Okay.
But how did you decide I'll take the toughest examination?
In every engineer's or every student's mind, there will be this thing as to where I will be working. Campus placements will be ongoing. A lot of companies will be recruiting the engineers. I had an interest in the Indian society and also Indian philosophy. So it was kind of a career choice.
Hard work and effort put into the UPSC exam. Could you explain about how difficult the exam and how intense the preparation is with the vast syllabus?
The point here is whether you know everything. The point here is how in this complex set of thing you manage yourself. Rather than how much you've studied, it is about what you make out of it, what you apply out of it, and how do you handle that situation where 10 lakh candidates are writing the same exam, they have the same time. So it is all about your personalities.
Welcome to another episode of the ViChAR podcast. My name is Suhas Raghavan Iyengar, a grade 10 student from Purna, Chetana, the 21st century Bharatiya school. Today we have a very important guest here with us today. Meet Shaikh Tanveer Asif sir, an IAS officer from the 2017 batch who cleared the UPSC examinations with an astounding All India rank of 25. He had his bachelor's degree in engineering in the field of electronics and communications and has played key administrative roles as the assistant commissioner in the Hospet subdivision and the CEO of the Mandya Zilla Panchayat. Now he continues as the commissioner of the Mysuru City Corporation and has led Mysuru to achieve several developmental goals. We welcome you, sir.
Thanks for having me, Suhas. It's delightful and very happy moment. This morning I've come down in Chetana school. As an interaction, it's very positive to see, at a young age, you have been trained to, podcast and ask questions. That's very happy for me, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. So, sir, first of all, who is an IAS officer and what is his role that he plays in society?
IAS officer is a bureaucrat, just like so many other officers working for the government. Basically, it's an all India service as per the constitutional article. There are other two all India services, Indian Foreign Service and Indian Forest Service. Other than that, there are a lot of other central government services. All of these officers, are recruited through an exam called as UPSC Civil Services Examination. Union Public Service Commission is a commission who conducts these examinations. So every year that examination happens. So as a part of the successful candidates out of that exam are allotted different services, into the administrative service, into the police service. I beg your pardon, it's not the foreign service but the police service. Police service is an all India service. Foreign service is not an all India service, it's a central services. So all these services are allotted based on that exam. So IAS officers also are selected through that exam. So basically all the government ministries, the secretariats, and then the departments in central government and the state government, they are administered executively by all these officers. It's not just IAS officers but all these officers. It's primarily a administrative service because that is the primary role of general administration, of taking care of all the sectors of governance, all the areas of society. Other services like police, like revenue service, they also work in ministries. So basically, they are bureaucrats taking the care of Indian economy, Indian agriculture, Indian education, in all sorts of sectors. So at the early stage, they work in field. Such officers, when they are freshly recruited, they work as assistant commissioners after completing their training for 2 years, and then they go on to get different roles as CEOs or as district deputy commissioners. In police service, they get the role of ASP and then SP of the district. In forest service, they become ACF and then later on DCF. At the end of the services, they work as secretaries in the secretariat, and in senior roles in police as ADGPs, Additional Director General. And in forest service, they work as conservators, principal conservators, PCCF. So basically, as you grow more from administration to policy making, roles are there. So in the early stage, we work in field. In the later stage, we end in secretariat.
So, sir, how did you get into the civil services through the UPSC exam? So, as I read from your profile, so you were once and had an engineering bachelor's degree. So, generally, the scenarios, yeah, so I got the degree, and now I can settle. I can start, getting a job and start earning.
Okay.
But how did you just, how can you like decide? I'll further pursue and I'll take the toughest examination and try to do civil service.
See, after schooling and after my basic education, which I did in my hometown, I came for engineering in electronics and communication to MS Ramaiah College. So in the MS Ramaiah, while I was pursuing electronics and communication, at the same time there were a lot of career options that I had to choose after say third year, because after engineering, 2 years passes. In every engineer's or every student's mind, there will be this thing as to where I will be working, because campus placements will be ongoing, and then a lot of companies will be recruiting the engineers. Parallelly, some of them will go to pursue higher studies in MTech or ME in Indian universities or in foreign universities. Some of us take up different roles in say MBA or law or any other field that they think is matching their aspirations. For me, it was a lot of options were there. At that time, I thought over. I had an interest in Indian polity, Indian society, and also Indian philosophy. In the basic reading as to learning these things, I happened to read India's present, political and sociological developments. There was this book by Ramchandra Guha, India after Gandhi, kind of tracing what happened after independence till now. So it was interesting what you study as a student in school in your NCRTs or in your state textbooks. Gives you a limited understanding of events. You're not able to imagine how society might have been 50 years down the line, how technological evolutions evolved over a period of time, and what political decisions, what you know parliamentary decisions shaped people's life. So over a period of time, when I deep dived into it, I found it very interesting, and then I started even reading Indian Constitution and all those things. And I was almost into the preparation. So it was kind of a career choice. It was kind of a commitment that I want to be in public service for a good cause.
So how was your family's reaction? So because you could have settled and started earning jobs, how did they react to?
They were very happy, obviously, since I am from
Service.
Gulbarga. Um, that day, my parents, my mother, my father, my siblings, and all the neighbors. Everyone was happy because it was, you know, it was something which I had not imagined, right? Because my basic education was from a local school, and then coming to Bangalore, learning English. At your age, I didn't even know how to speak. So, not just in English, but in any other language, because of a lot of reason, because of maybe uh, we didn't have the exposure, right? So over a period of time, as I realized when I was preparing for the examination, I thought I will clear the exam. Maybe any service will be okay. When my mains went well, I was like maybe any of the top 3, 4 services which people normally take. And then when my interview was over, I was certain that I will get into service in a good service. But when the results were out, news for me also, because it was All India 25th rank. So that day also I was fasting. Today also I am fasting. So I can relate to those moments. It was very surreal moment, because something uh, which you imagine for yourself comes true, and it comes true in a very big way. So that's good for me, that I was very happy. And after my parents heard it, they were also very happy.
So the hard work and effort put into the UPSC exam. Could you explain about how difficult the exam and how intense the preparation is with the vast syllabus and so on?
It's very rigorous in a way, because the syllabus is very vast and it's very wide. So it covers all aspects of government, of society, of various subjects. So from political science to Indian Constitution to sociology to bit of philosophy to Indian history to disaster management to ethics and governance, science and technology, almost everything under the sun can be a question for UPSC. The point here is whether you know everything. The point here is how in this complex set of thing you manage yourself, because rather than how much you've studied, it is about what you make out of it, what you apply out of it, and how do you handle that situation where 10 lakh candidates are writing the same exam, they had the same time frame. So it is all about your personalities. I didn't realize it back then. Now, at 9 years down the line in the service, I realized that it is about the personality, about how you handle each day, about how you handle your health, about how you handle that exam day in the prelims, and if it doesn't come through, how do you handle it for the next year, and then if your prelims is cleared, how do you handle yourself for the mains. So it is about personality much before the personality test is taken by the UPSC board. So all in all, it was you know a reflection of my personality that came out into the exam. As you said, it is difficult, but at the same time, it is in a way easy, because that anything can be asked to anyone.
Everyone faces the
Every
same
faces the
thing.
same set of this thing. So you have to put a good number of hours, because in that 1 year, it doesn't add up like what you studied for the last year. Doesn't add up in a linear way, right? What you studied in this year, what you studied in last year, or what you studied in a year previous to that, because the current affairs they add on, and the structure of the paper for that year may be different. So it doesn't make 1 plus 1 2 in a linear way, but definitely what you have studied earlier, it will contribute to your understanding for the present year. So in this 1 year, how much you study, how much you understand, analyze, logically apply yourself, that matters. So out of 10 lakh students, only some 15-20,000 write mains examination, and of that only some 3,000, 4,000 they face the interview. Of that, less than 1,000 get selected. Of that, less than 100 are allotted. Around earlier it was 180. These days it is somewhere nearer to that 150, 180, 200. So it's tough in that way uh, for a lot of people who are not able to make it through. It's very heartbreaking also. But for those who make it, it's a surreal experience.
Sir, so once you cleared the UPSC exam and you got the astounding AR 25, so now we did you have some goals that you already had in the mind that you wanted to implement? And so once you were given any post, what was the difference that or challenge that you felt? Being able to learn the theory, but now you have to practically implement it in the real world.
The most important lesson was, when you actually apply yourself in society, it is common sense. No matter how much you put yourself on with books, no matter how much you spend times in terms of learning, reading, listening, watching, talking. At the end of the day, when a social situation arises, it is just like you and me. The fears in society, the problems in society is just like what we face in everyday life. So, in that situation, when you go, there will be a lot of cross-cutting interests, right? The interest of the legal standpoint that you have to interpret law and do only this way uh, in a particular situation, and then there will be interest of society for their well-being and for their betterment. How do you take a decision? And then there will be stakeholders who would be opposed to a particular outcome in that social situation. So what will happen is you will have to take a stand. You will have to take a decision. This single biggest thing of taking a decision, no matter what, you have to take a decision. You cannot, I mean, you can delay it for a day or two, but still you have to take a decision. Right or wrong, you can justify it, uh, take a right stand, normative stand, legal stand, and you have to stand and take that decision. And if you take that decision, as a lot of popular leaders in our nation have told, that you will have to take a lot of unpopular decision also, which people may not like, but which will be useful uh, for the district or for the company or for the corporation at large. So this single biggest thing, that you have to take decision no matter what. It cannot be delayed. It can be delayed, but it cannot be completely done away with. That was one biggest thing in the field that you face. And then the second thing, as I have partly already said, is that there will be people who suffer by your decision, even if you have taken a right decision. How do you manage them? Because it's not a mechanical organization. It's not a company producing machines. It's government dealing with people, dealing with farmers, dealing with industries. So those people who get affected by you, even those people have to be managed. Even though you have taken a logically, legally right decision, those people who get affected by your correct, legal, right decision should also be taken care of. This is something which it becomes very core to the field experience.
So, sir, let's move further from this topic and let's go to uh, when you were first posted in Mysore. So, what areas did you feel lagged behind and required more development?
See, Mysore is a beautiful city. It's just, as I say, a reflection of the society. Anything, is a reflection of society. It's a reflection of me. If I am good, it's a reflection of society. If you are good, it's a reflection of society. If someone is not good, that is also a reflection of society. So the beauty you see anywhere is the reflection of the people around in that place. It cannot be anything else, because how can we explain then that this city is beautiful, the other is not? This city is managed well, other is not. Be it the leaders in the past, be it the people in the past, or the present generation or the present political leaders, all of us are responsible for whatever city or whatever place we live in, right? So if something is good, it is because of us. Something is bad, it is because of us. So when I had come in this place, there were a few things that I noticed in the early time. One is that in the preceding year, in the for the Swachh Sarvekshan 2024, we had slid in terms of cleanliness, in terms of our standing, in terms of our position. So a lot of effort was made in that direction. See, when efforts are made, the results are not reflected in just one day. It takes a lot of time. So if we go down in that spiral. It is not like if you have gone down today, we will come up for sure tomorrow. It is like we can go down in the spiral. So it is important to build a positive momentum of the spiral. So that year we took a lot of efforts to increase the visible cleanliness on roads, on neighborhoods, in parks, and at the same time, a lot of projects were on were yet to be started. Be our solid waste management plant in Vidyaranapura, or the compacting the waste. We have to compact the waste before we send it for processing. So those compactors or those transfer stations, which we call, they were yet to be installed, and then our material recovery facilities were yet to be installed, and then our machinery in terms of jetting, desilting for UGD underground drainage networks. So there were a lot of impending things. Our legacy waste management, the Vidyaranapura waste management side, there were a lot of dump of mountain of waste is there. So mining that, processing that legacy waste which was there for last 10-15 years, processing that waste was a challenge. And at the same time, the toilets, a lot of non-functional toilets were there. Almost half of the toilets were non-functional. To make them functional, to ensure that water is there in that toilets, to ensure that it is managed properly. So these were a lot of challenges that we had in the year preceding to this. We took that as a challenge. That was one area, of sanitation and this thing. And the second area was to ensure that you create durable assets at the same time. That though the financial situation, whatever the financial situation is there in the corporation, you have to spend money for better works. So the parks that people live for, spend a lot of time. Only 280 parks were managed. So we added another 100 parks under management. So at the same time, due to the cleanliness efforts, we also received the President's Award last year in June. That was the first time we received the President's Award. That was an indication that we're moving in a positive direction in terms of creating durable assets and in terms of creating a clean and neat city. So as I say, of course, regaining the tag of Mysore as a clean city was very important.
Now, so that was when you joined a post in Mysuru. So from the present now to the future, what areas further need to be developed? What are the short-term goals or what are the long-term goals for the future of Mysuru?
See, as a short term, what I had envisioned that time was like all the impending things should be through. Our construction and demolition waste facility also was languishing because we were finding difficult to identify space. So all these building construction materials which we demolish for building new house, that waste will be thrown out somewhere in the ring road or somewhere near our houses where is empty plot. So that waste also has to be processed. We don't have a plant for that. So now the plant is coming up near Asad Gully. Uh, we have identified place. The boundary work has done. The machinery is in the stage of procurement. So maybe in next 3-4 months we will have our construction demolition plant. We have given a public notification for people to bring their construction demolition waste to that facility. So that was one project that was pending and it is ongoing. In a matter of next 3 months, as I said, it will be completed. Our material recovery facilities at both the places, in one in Kesare and another in Rayankere, they are almost complete. So in a month they will be running. Our solid waste management plant in Vidyaranapura, that is also functional now. From scratch we started and we completed it in 1 year. Our transfer stations, we have created for compacting the waste and transporting it to the processing place. That is also in place. And at the same time, the toilet, are almost all the toilets are in management. Some of them are not. We are working to find out also to manage them. And we are now over a period of last 1 year, we have added the source of revenue as well by uh, bringing in those properties which were not assessed for the property tax. Those properties also identified. Now going forward, I mean, all these things which were there, we also completed our veterinary hospital for birth control of dogs in Rayanakere. That is also almost done. Machinery for the OT is being procured. After that, we will be able to do more number of birth control for dogs, so that the dog population also. So that is also almost in place. So these were the things in short. In the long run, what we had was two things. Number one is how to ensure that the solid waste management from end to end is taken care at a very efficient way and very sustainably over a period of time. So that was one long-term vision as to what we should bring in to do that. Second was how should we increase our revenues, because if there is no money in the corporation, we cannot spend it for good cause. So from the point of view of increasing the tax or tax base, or from the point of view of managing our corporation in a better way, now we are going ahead with our something called as LiDAR technology. So that with the LiDAR based technology, we will be mapping the entire city of Mysuru as a digital twin. Digital twin is a concept wherein what you see live will be there in the computer. Your house, my office, everything will be there on computer. Its size, its dimensions, the drainage network, the road network, the condition of road, the condition of drains, all those things will be there in that. So we can sit and see, okay, this area gets flood. Maybe if we construct drains in a particular area for this length, we will be able to avoid
Problems.
problem of drainage or of storm. uh, you know so including that, and then where to construct roads, which area to go, what buildings need to be demolished or acquired, what roads need to be extended, where the traffics are high, where the city is growing. Everything can be kind of simulated in that digital twin. So that we have done the proof of concept already. We will be floating tender very shortly. Over a period of 1 year, that survey will be done, and along with our property taxes, we will have a repository of managing our urban landscape, be better positioned to manage disasters, and more importantly for my students, will be able to manage Dasara also better way, because when we will be having the whole center of the city where we conduct Dasara, the Bani Mantapa road, the when we have it on our hand, we can simulate what will happen if we do it in a particular way. Say what will happen if we do Ahar Mela here and not there. If we do Yuva Dasara there and not here, we can simulate everything and plan accordingly. So in future years, it will help for that also. So it's a very big project that in a long term is going to help Mysuru in terms of resource mobilization, in terms of infrastructure development, in terms of disaster management, in terms of crowd management, in terms of traffic management, in all ways that we can imagine. Along with that, as I said, in a long term for sustainable solid waste management, what we are thinking is bring in more machinery. We have already in a process to bring in automatic road sweepers. Uh, in a matter of 3 months, we will have 3 more automatic road sweepers. We have 5 automatic road sweepers already. Based on our experience of the Western countries, they deploy a lot of machinery and keep their this thing clean. So this is the second most important thing. And then another thing which I should tell is about changing people's mind. It's a civic sense, right?
That's true.
In our house, we eat food, right? As a child, after finishing our meal, what do we do? We leave our plate there only. Who will pick it up? Maybe our mother, or in some cases, maybe a maid. We eat a chocolate, we eat chips, and we throw the wrapper in our house. Why? Because we think that someone will lift. So this mentality in our this civic sense, this mentality in our children or in our adults, that someone out there will do.
Who will take responsibility?
Someone else will take responsibility
yes.
for something which I have done. That is something, that is the birth of problem for our civic problems. Why? Because something which originates from me, I should be managing it. Something which is because of me, I should be responsible for it. Not my mother, not my sister, not my maid, right? So it should be one democratic, at the same time, the one who has created the mess should clean the mess. But same problem comes on road. And people eat, they throw, they eat, they spit, they throw garbage, they throw wrappers, they throw plastics, they throw what not, they throw everything because someone out there, the power karmikas, the corporation will do it. This is the birth of problem I see, because almost all places our vehicles go to collect waste. Maybe sometimes by negligence or of the driver, or by whatever mechanical reason that vehicle went bad. One day the vehicle doesn't go, but next day the vehicle will come. Can't we store our waste for one day at least, right? So this civic sense is very important. So in that stead, in the longer run, people like you, Suhas, should be the brand ambassadors. All the students should be brand ambassadors, because it is your future, it is our future. So to bring in this civic sense, to tell people that it is our place, it is our nation, it is our environment, it is our land, it is our water bodies. We have to protect it by our responsible behavior. So when you start asking people, start asking, questioning people, then a lot of civic sense will improve. From corporation, we are doing, as you are aware, a lot of IEC activities, information awareness activities, right? We are having cycle days on Devaraja's Road. We did cycle days,
Yeah.
promoting cycling, skating, sports, so that the roads are open to us. It's our roads. When traffic is not there, we can do anything we want with our roads. And then we did a lot of events like marathon. We also did a debate competition. We did a quiz competition where hundreds of schools had participated. We did waste to artifact competition for children, school children. We did, as I said, debate competition for children, and then good Swachha school competition, Swachha hotel competition. A lot of activities conducted. We did marathon, we did cyclothon, just to bring in this awareness. We know that this is not sufficient, but this is the first step. If we start in a way to tell people that it is our responsibility, one day they will understand, because hope is something which should always be there.
So we have this kind of notion in Mysuru that we have these emotions of it being a heritage and a green kind of city. So how do you plan on making sure that the rapid development, rapid growth of the city does not harm the notions of or sentiments of people being green, or are we expecting Mysuru to shift from a tier 2 to a tier 1 city? Because it will obviously cause many problems such as traffic, population, pollution. So how do you control development as well as promote it?
Conservation. Yeah, that is a very important question, right? When we are growing, when the city is growing, our roads also have to become bigger. When we are growing, our processing plants also have to become bigger. Our sewage plants also have to become bigger. When the city is expanding, when more number of people are coming, the more number of roads, more number of drains, more number of UGD networks, more number of everything should come. Monies have to come for that, right? And when that development is happening, it should not be completely against the conservation, right? But conservation alone should not also put development at a back seat, because without development, who are we? We will have good nature, but we will be having with very less resources, very less things to take care of our health, very less things to take care of our well-being of ourselves, our children, right? So it has to go in hand in hand. For example, if we take up, say, road expansion project, which is necessary from the point of view of traffic management, if we plan it early, right, the cost of acquiring will be less. The fatalities that might have arose if we have not done it well in hand will be averted, right? So it has to be done at right time. Strike the iron when it is hot or red, right? So it has to be done at a right or appropriate time. So if we, in the name of conservation, just sit silently, also it is not going to help. If it then, in the name of development, we are blatantly going at removing trees or removing, breaking houses, that also will not be good. So we have to, at right time, we have to take a decision. Right? This road is necessary for scientifically evaluate. That is, this road is necessary for expansion. You do it. this project is necessary to come up, this area has to be earmarked for that. So we have to somewhere, somewhere take a stand for development, because it's not just infrastructure development, it is human development as well. Because without pushing in money in education, in health, in the civic infrastructure, we will be backwards. We will be a very poor country, right? So while we are conserving, we also should focus on development. In the long run, definitely yes, Mysore will become a tier one city. It is already in a cusp of becoming. It has become a million plus city already. So what will happen is, as the city becomes bigger, there is one rule maybe you will come across, called as a iron rule of oligarchy. It is applied to businesses, it is applied to empires, it is applied to governments also, bureaucracies also. When things become bigger, they fall. When things become bigger, they fall. So this is cycle. So small thing grows bigger and it falls. This is applied to companies also. Like General Electrics, which was there hundreds of years, it was a very good company. Now it is in decline. Like that, Yahoo was a company for 10-15 years. It was in peak and then it declined. So there is this lifespan, right? So they they decline over a period of time. So we have to ensure that this within this time period, we create value for people before that falls. Before say the corporation becomes weak or the company becomes weak, we have to create value for people, for maximum number of people. One day it will go down. If it becomes too big, it will become too difficult to handle, right? So we have to only delay that process of it falling on its own legs. So we have to create decentralized systems so that they can take care of the big juggernaut, in all spaces, so that it doesn't fall, so that the iron law of oligarchy is broken. So we need to involve citizens. We need to create more decentralized, setup, so that the decisions are taken locally. If it decision is taken at only one point and everywhere it is disseminated, the entire system is standing on only one leg. It cannot stand like that on one leg, and such bigger system will fall. So we have to create a resilient infrastructure of decision making, of project implementation, of cities urban growth, of urban planning, of industrial development, right? All those things in a way which will be able to hold itself, right? When we are planning new roads, we should also plan spaces around the road so that people can walk, we can spend time. When we are planning newer areas, we should also plan people areas for people to live, spend time, play, playgrounds, and all those things. So we have to plan at the early stage only, so that the city will be both alive as it is now, more vibrant, heritage compliant, and at the same time bigger. We have to be more responsible. Each one's responsibility increases when the size of the pie increases.
Sir, could you give with an example how administration flows, how you get the decisions that are made in the legislature, and how you coordinate with people, and how do you actually execute it?
I'll just take an example of maybe khatas that we are doing. Every house should have a khata. We talk about e-khata, right? On 11th of February, government of Karnataka decided to bring in something called as make it compulsory to have e-khata, and at the same time, e-khata was linked to Kaveri. Kaveri is a system which is there for registration, right? So when you register your house or your property, you do it, in sub-registry office, right? And the system that they use is Kaveri, right? When you say you want to sell this land, a buyer will buy that land. The transaction happens and it's recorded in Kaveri. Now, after that, what happened was on 11th of February, Kaveri and e-Asti were linked. So government amended the Karnataka Corporation Act and Municipalities Act by saying that this will happen. So the leaders, the political leaders, the ministers, the MLA, they discussed in the house about the pros and cons, and then they came to this decision. Now when they took the decision, a notification was issued. When the notification is issued, it becomes compliant on all the officers to implement it. So when we started implementing it, that time Mysore had only 20,000 plus khatas, e-khatas, right?
Yeah.
After that, we said we will do abhiyana, and then we did a lot of abhiyan in wards in different areas, and we created nearly 50,000 khatas, e-khatas, right? Helping people, because when they get e-khata, they will be able to sell the land. If they are in distress, they want to sell a property, they can sell it properly. That is one. right? From people's point of view. And again, from people's point of view, since the e-khata is linked with your registration, no one else can sell it your land. Earlier that was possible. I can sell your land if I have something to prove. Now, before I sell the land, I should have a khata of that property in my name. That's a good decision by government. And when the local officers are implementing, they should implement it in all ways. Like if you give more number of people e-khata, more number of people will be benefited. And again, then later on, again, government told that uh, by improving the e-asti software, by developing that, earlier people were not able to make application in e-asti. Now they can make application in e-asti. They don't need to come to office to give application. They can make it online, and then automatically 2 layers will be there, a verifier will be there, and approver will be there. So a khata will be issued. Now that system has come in since last 2 months. It's good system. Now we are driving that system also. We will do abhiyana for the citizen centric abhiyana. So what I told was how in the assembly or in parliament, when political leaders or when government make a law or make amendments to a law, how it affects the citizen. This is a case of the decision making, how law was made, how law was implemented, and how it got benefited by people. There were a lot of challenges where server was down, where people were not able to make e-khatas. A couple of months, people were really worried. But over a long run, what will happen is it will ease the system. They will not have to run to pillar to post to get e-khata. There will be initial frictions, but over a period of time, it will become much more this thing, because we are giving that feedback to the government to improve that software. So this is an example of how a law is made, how it is implemented, how it affects people, in a good way.
So, sir, we've heard on the news that MCC is becoming a greater Mysore. So, how will this change Mysore? What changes are we going to see adding, making Mysore bigger?
We have already partly talked about it,
Yeah.
when we talked about oligarchy, about when cities become big or companies become big, we need to create decentralized systems so that it can stand itself. Decisions are taken on time. What will happen is, one is that the size of the city is increasing, because the neighboring local bodies and gram panchayats, 5 local bodies, Hudgalli, Ramanahalli, and then Alnalli, Bogadi, Ilwal, Kadkola, all these will become part of the city corporation. As of now, they are local bodies, rural or urban. They will become a part of corporation. That is the one change that will come. The area of the corporation will increase from the present 85 square kilometer to the new 340 square kilometer. And then we can have a planned growth or planned development, because more number of area is there. You can reserve places, earmark places for, say, film city, or for international stadium, or for IT hub, or for tourism, ecotourism, or for health infrastructure. You can reserve places. You can bring in that in your master plan, so that the planning happens properly. And then what will happen? What will also happen is the funding from the government will improve. The 15th Finance Commission has already increased the lending to, the grant to the local bodies by double, almost double. So what we used to get 60 crores per year from the government, central government, now we will be getting over a period of time double of it. The grant will be one thing. And most importantly, see, as of now, these all the local bodies around it, for their water requirements, for their sewage requirement, more or less they were depending on corporation. And for waste management also, they were bringing in our legacy waste only. So there is also shortfall of this services there. When someone tourist comes, when he passes through Hudgalli, he will not say it as Hudgalli, he will say it as Mysuru, right? So that is also one way. When we talk about Mysuru, it's not something only within the ring road, it is also about everything around ring road. So it will create one avenue of, as I say, where we will be able to see it comprehensively, plan comprehensively, bring utility networks in those areas also, roads also in those areas also, plan better way, right? That is an important aspect that will happen when the, as of now, the corporation is tier 2 corporation, it will become a tier 1 corporation.
Sir, now I thought I could ask you some quirky questions to lighten up the mood and have a bit of fun. So I have a few questions.
Okay.
It's not going to be as difficult as UPSC, but
Okay.
the first one being, describe civil services in one word.
Responsibility,
If your life were made into a movie, what would be its title?
passion,
If you weren't an IAS officer, what would you be?
teacher or a pilot.
So could you elaborate?
When I was a kid, when I was growing, I always fascinated myself with exposition about learning and teaching, about not in a traditional sense, but in a a broader sense of educating everyone, your kids, your children, your family, because they also have to be educated, and then schools, children. So teaching was something which was very close to my heart, so it will always stay.
So pilot?
Because I like heights,
Oh.
I like long distances, I like seeing world or seeing things from a distance. I was very fascinated when I first climbed a mountain. I mean, not climbed a mountain, when I went over a hill, and then I saw down the line there was lakes were visible, everything was visible. So when gives you a bird's eye view,
Picturesque.
yeah. So that landscape, that everything, it is so beautiful from out here, and then everyone wants to fly because that is something we don't have. We have legs on grounds, not wings on air, right?
If IAS was a food, which one would it be?
If IAS was a food, it would have been uh, maybe coconut, tender coconut. Yeah.
Could you elaborate coconut?
Because it looks very hard.
Oh,
You break, then
then
it's enjoyable and also satisfying.
that's actually a apt answer, sir. If you could change any one rule in administration with a magic wand, what rule would it be?
Changing one rule, that would be bringing in the service level agreements for officers, so that citizens' grievances are addressed faster.
What message do you have to all the students, all the youth there to pursue their career in civil services and serve the nation?
Not just civil services, just pursue their career, whatever they want to. Number one is because of the onset of social media and distractions, focus. Focus is the most important thing. And along with focus, doing it every day, doing it regularly, doing it in bad times, doing it in good times. That is integrity, that is consistency, at what we call as uh, in the face of odds also you work hard, that determination, right? So that is important, the focus and that consistency. And along with that, the most important thing, as I see, is the belief. You should have your belief in yourself, regardless of what situation, you will be able to make it to whatever you think is achievable. So having belief in yourself, doing it every day, and being focused, I think that is the key for the students to pass in their exam, to get good job, to get good life.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. It was absolutely inspirational to talk to you.
Thank you
Sir.
so much, Suhas. It was also very inspirational for me also to have been interacted with you. You had a good knowledge over a lot of topics, and it was very engaging, right? So I thank you and also your school and also all the people who are responsible to bring this up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.